Hey y'all, it's Jordan from Jordan Budgets. Today we are going to talk about my income and expenses for week 2 of our 1-year challenge. For a full year, I'm going to be sharing with you guys every single thing I've made and spent as a small business owner, single mom, single income family. So you're not only getting all of my personal expenses, but you're getting all of my business expenses as well as later in the video, we're going to talk about all of my income for the week as well. I do make money on printables on Etsy. I have a membership on jordanbudgets.com. I sell physical items on jordanbudgets.com. And then I also make some money on YouTube and with affiliates. So this is all something we're going to talk about on the second half of this video. We're going to start with expenses first, but I'm going to be sharing a video just like this one every single week. So if this sounds interesting, entertaining, or informative in some way, I hope that you will subscribe to the channel so that you can follow me along on this journey of building my income, hopefully building my business, and just kind of seeing where this journey takes me. Let's start with my expenses. Now I do track everything in the back of my 2 Hobonichi weeks. These are just planners that I love and I use the back pages to track budgeting stuff. It's broken up this year into 2 planners, but that's only because I split my work stuff later on and I'm running out of space in here. But currently for this year, I am just tracking on the blank note pages in the back of a Hobonichi weeks. Everything is on one spread for a full month as far as my expenses go. And then I did create just a little November income tracker. If you have a Hobonichi weeks, this will work perfect for you, but really this system will work anywhere because it's all just stuff that I've drawn in anyway, right? Okay, so let's get into November week 2. Just a little bit of housekeeping style notes though, because I do budget quite a bit differently than most. The 1st to the 7th is always week 1 for me. Week 2 is always the 8th through the 14th. That just helps it to where every single month I know exactly what week bills are gonna fall in. There's no like backtracking system. I just know the 1st through the 7th is week 1, 8th through the 14th is week 2, and so on. I do a 4-week month, and then the 29th on, whether there be 30 or 31 days in the month, those are always no spend days for me. So we'll talk about that as we get closer to it, but for this video, the 8th through the 14th are the days that we're talking about, and I'm gonna start out with my personal expenses, then my business expenses, then we'll move over to talk about my income. The income is a lot more chatty, so I think I'm going to move towards saving that for the end just because I might get a little bit excited to share work updates, things I'm doing trying to grow my income, which I hope you guys want to hear. Let me know in the comments, but if you're really just here to know about my expenses, that's going to be part 1. So let's jump right into it. I spent $69 on groceries. On Sunday, I spent $43 on household stuff. So household for me is included in my grocery and fast food and household budget. Like that's all just one category for me, and they're in the light pink or dark pink, and then I track it under my food category. So household was a ton of like Drano stuff for me this week. It's not typically, I can't think of the last time I bought Drano, but a couple of my pipes were having issues, and so I did take the pipes under the sink apart and like get the gunk out and stuff, and I was still having some drain issues, so I bought an obscene amount of Drano, and I only ended up needing 1, so I don't know why I panicked so much. If you're having draining issues, say with like your shower or whatever, let me tell you, get the Drano. It's in a big red tub. If you've never used it, like that's the one that I usually get. It's a really thick formula, but I also got one of those little snake things, and it just has little spikes on it. Drano, the brand, sells these little tools, but I had never bought one. So it was just a long, basically like a long plastic stick that had these little spikes off of it. Well, I used Drano and it was still not draining well, so I bought this little like snake thing from the Drano brand and put that down and like, you know, swirled it around, dug out all the hair and gunk. It was so gross, but I'm trying to do like a house project a week just to kind of like build my knowledge and just be more self-reliant. Anyway, basically I spent $43 on Drano and pipe stuff, and I still have like 2 full tubs of Drano, so I'm good to go for like another year or so. And that little snake thing, the little plastic thing, I can reuse a billion times. So I should not need to buy Drano again for a long time. But I did spend $43 on Drano during my little like weekend house project on Sunday, which was to clean out my pipes in the bathroom sink and the tub. And then for Monday, my next expense was parking. I spent $1.50 in the city. Parking for me is a bill. If you haven't seen my videos, I only have 3 categories, 4 now that I'm counting work in all in one budget. But I basically have bills, food, and other, and now work. But that's really unique because I work fully on Etsy and YouTube. But in my own website, I gotta stop saying I'm an Etsy shop owner because now I have my own website, jordanbudgets.com. But parking is considered a bill to me, just another way my budget is a little bit unique because I condense the categories. I count debt, parking, gas for the car, and regular bills all as bills because I have to pay them to keep living. So Monday, our only expense was the parking for $150, which is amazing. On Tuesday, we did get gas. Oh, Tuesday we went to the hospital. I was like, I knew I had something going on funky this for week 2. So we spent $35 in the morning on Tuesday to go to the hospital, which is a few hours away from me, for my boys. My boys have a genetic kidney and liver disease that they were born with. Nothing we could have prevented, nothing we can do. We're just monitoring until transplants are needed, is basically the long and short of that. But every 6 months, every year, it kind of depends on what the specialists want to see and do, but they have doctor appointments and we have to go out of town for that. Typically, y'all, I spend so much money on these doctor days because guilt overwhelms me. And what do you do when you feel guilty as a parent? You buy them stuff. I am doing so much better at this. I will say when they were really little, I used to take them, we would do the doctor visits and then we go to the zoo or we do all this stuff. I would still do that except for the fact that we used to go to the hospitals when we lived in the South, and we go to New Orleans, and New Orleans had all kind of stuff to do, right? Now we're going to Iowa City, and I don't know what in the world there is to do in Iowa City, but it's not a whole ton of a lot. We do have doctor appointments again in a few weeks, and for those doctor's appointments, I went ahead and set an overnight hotel stay because I have some free points. So we're staying in the hotel overnight and we're just gonna check out the mall and stuff because their appointments are, they have to do ultrasounds, like really specialized ultrasound things, and it's not invasive. It's not that big of a deal, but the big deal of it is that you have to do ultrasounds on a completely empty stomach, no food, no water, no drink, no gum, nothing for 8 hours beforehand. Luckily, my boys are older, but even still, I wake up and want water right away. So it feels torturous to wake them up at like 5 in the morning and then drive all the way there. And then they get their ultrasound finally at, at 8 or 9 in the morning. And then they have to be like thirsty and miserable this whole time. So anyway, I did set up a hotel and we are going to check out Iowa City more during this next trip because of their ultrasounds being at 8 and 8:15 or 8:30 or whatever in the morning. I won't have to wake them up as early. This is less like a long side tangent. Sorry. Point is, I'm hoping we find stuff in Iowa City to do because it used to be more of like a fun day and we just do some doctor appointment stuff before because we're in the city, like we're in New Orleans, so we might as well enjoy it. If you know anything about Iowa City, tell me what we're supposed to be doing. Tell me what there is to do, please. I'm planning on going to a mall while we're there, but I have 9 and 11-year-old boys who do not care about a mall. Anyway, all that was really just to say, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, because we're doing these weekly recaps every single week. But all of that was really to say, I couldn't find anything interesting enough to do, and I've got 9 and 11-year-old boys who are like, can we just drive there and like come back? Do we have to find something to do? So I did not spend a lot of money on this trip, thank goodness. I did spend like the whole $35 in gas. And then in the hospital, one of my kids was severely dehydrated looking. I don't know, he like got so chapped along the way. So we went to the gift store in a children's hospital, which had all of the fun things. So they both ended up with a couple little like snacks, I think. And we got chapstick, which was my real thing that I needed to buy for $16. And then they got cookies in the hospital for $5. There was a little restaurant in the Iowa Children Steadfast. What is that hospital called? I don't know, y'all. I'm still trying to figure out Iowa. The Children's Hospital in Iowa City. They have some little shops, like like a coffee shop. So at the coffee shop, there was giant cookies for $2.50 each. So I did buy them each a cookie, but I packed a lunch beforehand. I let them have their tablets. That was really, for 9 and 11-year-old boys, that was the highlight of the week, really, is that they were able to play. They were allowed to play tablet on the whole way there and back and stuff. So I didn't spend any fast food money, which is crazy, and I didn't spend $100 or $2 getting into the zoo and buying them stuff at a store like I used to do when they were little. So I'm proud of this. We still had a good day, all things considered. It was hospital visits, you know, but it wasn't terrible. And then and then purple for me is other. I lump all my other stuff together, and then at the end of the month, I like to kind of put it in categories just for next year's planning. I can know what to expect for different things, right? Another other category is medicine for me. I do have thyroid issues, so I pay $4 every month for meds for that. And then in my food budget, I spent $76 on groceries from Walmart, and then McDonald's. My boys got McDonald's on Wednesday because if they get, I have them in a book club, like a local book club at the library. Y'all look into your library resources. I save so much money doing library stuff, but they're in a free book club on Wednesdays. Once a month, I make them, I don't want to say make them because they actually like it, but in theory, they don't realize it, but like they have to go. They have to go to book club. They just don't know that it's a requirement because they like to go. But anyway, they have to go to book club and discuss the book. But if they read the book, because like they go to book club basically, if you haven't done a book club at the library, it's basically like they go, they discuss the book with the librarian and a couple of other kids. They do a craft together, they do a snack together. It's usually all book themed stuff. It's like a homeschooler's dream. It's what I used to in Mississippi help put together, and it was very time consuming, but here the librarians do it for you. So I bring my kids, because at the end of like one book club, so you discuss the whole book, you do all the things. At the end of it, the librarian does a little book talk and talks about what the next book club is going to be about, and she hands out the next book for them to check out because that's what's going to be discussed at the next book club. So they check out this book, and as long as they read it throughout the month, if they read and finish their book, I take them to McDonald's every month after book club, and they get to pick out anything they want. They can't pick out the whole menu, but like sometimes we go and I make them pick out like a 4 for $5, you know? They get to go and pick out anything they want. It's lately the only time in the month we do something like that, to where it's, if you want a Big Mac with a large fry and a large Coke, I don't care. You can do it if you read your book and we go to book club. They always do it. It has not, there's one, my older kid always reads it within a couple of days after the book club, and then he'll read it several more times. My younger kid is a little bit more of a reluctant reader, and so he'll wait until like the week before and then he'll start rush reading it, but they always read it and get McDonald's after book club. And then on the next day, what happened here? We ended up, I'm way over explaining because I want to tell you why we had McDonald's twice in a row, because that's not usual for us lately. We've been much better about not so much McDonald's, but they had their teacher conferences and they had to both basically sit in front of me and the teachers and like show us their portfolios and stuff. It's not something they've ever done before. So my older was a little bit, he did it, but he was a little less enthused. My youngest was really enthusiastic, but then a couple of times he got really embarrassed and like a little bit upset because he just got flustered. You know what I mean? Like it was a little stressful for both of them. And we stayed at school like 2 hours late doing these conferences. They were like starving, and I was so proud of them that we went and got McDonald's. So it was just, you know, it was a Thursday treat. It happened. I am okay with it, but that did happen. And then on the 14th, the big thing that I didn't realize was gonna already be due is summer camps. I paid $190 for like signups for summer camps. That's just for one kid. That's a whole conversation that we can have at another time because this video is gonna be so long. But basically, I did go ahead. Summer camp has been on my radar because one of my kids went last summer, loved it. It was honestly a huge like saving moment for us as far as our experience here in Iowa. He made friends. They go off of a sliding scale, so it's somewhat affordable for me. But anyway, to go ahead and guarantee him a spot, I needed to pay that $190. My youngest is less sold on it, so I did not go ahead and make him get a spot. But my oldest absolutely wants to do the summer. So this $190 was basically just like my holding place for the summer. It's going to be way more expensive than that. But that was like, I realized it was up, and so I went ahead and paid the $190. So to summarize all of that spending, I spent $222 on groceries, fast food, household, all of that kind of stuff. $122, which y'all know is a little bit over budget. My goal is $200 every single week. And then for other spending, I spent $21 at the hospital, $4 for meds, $190 for summer camp. Other is not something I usually put a cap or a goal on, because like I said, it's stuff that needs to happen usually, or like it's really important to us. For the most part, my spending is not out of control. Now, if I saw a long list of Amazon going on here in the other category, that would be different. But for me, you know, it's like, it's not out of control at this point. So I just kind of keep it together and don't track it that much. For parking and gas, I spent $36.50 total this week. And then the bills that we have not yet discussed, because I don't waste space in this little calendar view tracking my bills that come every single month. I did cancel my medical that I had for myself. Y'all know I don't have health insurance, but something that Iowa has is called Exemplar Care. Not everywhere, but like Exemplar Care is basically a clinic that works off of a membership. So $89 every single month, and they will take you for like regular checkup visits. They'll take you for urgent care visits. I have been keeping it in my budget. They can't do like ER stuff, or if something serious comes up, it's not something they can help with anyway. Sometimes I feel like it's worth it to pay for regular visits and emergency visits, but I've had this in my budget for a while now, and I haven't used it in like 6 or 7 months. So I'm like, why am I not just paying out of pocket as things happen? So I did cancel that medical this month, so I don't have to pay that $89, which feels great. On the 10th, I did pay my Amazon credit card, which is now closed, but I do pay $45 every single month. If you have an Amazon credit card and you're feeling like it's a little bit too much for you to keep up with, I was very easily able to close that credit card, and they don't charge me any interest on paying it off. So consolidating my credit, because I did consolidate other credit, best decision I've ever made. I very much recommend it as long as you are willing to change your spending habits, which I absolutely did, and I'm happy to not have those cards anymore. But Amazon credit card specifically, $45 every single month. I want to say I'm down to like $1,500 is what I owe them, which is still a lot if I'm paying $45 a month. But again, there's no interest. But I am considering saving up to just go ahead and pay that one off, just to do away with this line, because I could make that happen pretty easily. But again, it has no interest. So for now, I'm keeping it. Trampoline park, I pay $31 every month for that, and I pay that on the 10th. We rarely go. Talk about bad decisions. Trampoline park was one of them. It's too far away from us. It's a direction I never go, and I'm not crazy about the location. I got it when we were still pretty new to here, and I'm locked into a contract. I didn't realize I didn't really like that location, but anyway, you live and learn. Be careful signing one-year contracts. State Farm, I paid them $85 for car insurance on the 13th. And then that's it for this week too. So I paid those 3 bills. I did pay $77.69 for a work expense for some containers to put some work stuff in. I don't know if you guys realize this, but the office that you have seen in the past in my videos, I am working on getting out of that space. It's really like a glorified shed, and it just makes me so depressed. We could talk about that another time. Again, this is getting very long, but it's just not for me. So I'm really just containing all of the stuff that's in there, and then whenever I move, I will have all my work stuff really easily organized. And even now, before I move, I can just really label everything well, go in there once a week, get what I need, because now I'm working out of the house. So to basically contain some work stuff, I paid $77 this week for some containers. So work expenses, I think it's getting a little tricky to track work expenses. Do we chat about it in this video? Will y'all please take a moment to pause this and let me know in the comments how long of a video you want to see from me, because y'all know I can be as chatty as can be, or I can really try to condense it. I am going a little bit more long form this week because you guys asked for it and said that that was okay. But if it's just too chatty and too much details, let me know. But I'm assuming we are all here for the details, right? So last week I marked out shipping as $74 and shop expenses, and I talked about the little bit of tax that I paid. I would love to keep doing that. However, it's really getting tricky on the back end to track, especially in Etsy. It's hard to track exactly when shipping and stuff was taken unless I start tracking it on a day-to-day basis, which I think is going to be so boring that it's going to hinder me from making these videos. So here's what I'm thinking. I think eventually I'm working towards hiring 2 types of people. One is going to be a general assistant, and they would help me with some general bookkeeping, like basically keeping up with all of this, not my personal stuff per se, but like the work details. They would be tracking my work expenses and stuff on a daily basis. So this would be easy for me to do without having to do the work for it. They're going to help me with email newsletters, which, by the way, if you're not signed up for my email newsletters, please go to the website and sign up for the email newsletters, because I'm going to start sending those out weekly to everybody, whether you're a member or not. And there's just a few like general things that I would like that person to help me with, of course, on a very part-time basis to begin with, and then moving up to a full-time position. And I would like to have a video editor so I can just focus on the filming. Somebody else can edit it for me. I'm working towards hiring those 2 types of people. When those 2 things happen, it'll be my first hires. It'll be very part-time, but at that point we can get back to doing work expenses on a weekly basis as far as like all the details. But I think right now it's just too much for me because it's a lot of back end trying to track and dig in all of the numbers. So I'm gonna still share, like if there was an Apple like monthly expense or containers, or if I buy shipping materials, because I'm doing that today, like all the one-off stuff. But as far as digging into Shopify and Etsy and sharing with you guys exactly how much I spent on shipping and exactly how much I did for customs, exactly how much it cost me, you know, for Etsy fees, I would love to share all of those details. I just think it's going to be a few months until I can hire somebody part-time to help me pull some of that. Until then, what we're going to do is on week 4, so every week 4, we will recap the full month of those types of things. So shipping for week 1, I put $74. I actually don't even think that's accurate. I think that was just Shopify shipping. Etsy, I probably spent another $100. And I will say for week 2, I had about 22 orders, all shipping domestically, because I don't ship international yet, but that's going to happen soon, but all shipping internationally. So I probably spent $125, $150 just on shipping on Etsy and Shopify this week. So some of these numbers in the work are going to be a little bit messy until 1, I really figure out how to track it best, and or 2, I hire some help to do that. But anyway, keeping shipping and stuff out of mind, understanding that that means these numbers are not completely accurate. I basically received $820 in my pay for this week, but then these expenses totaled $712. So probably once you consider shipping and stuff, I cut about even with what I was paid this week versus what I spent this week. I hope that makes sense. I just shared how much I made this week, which was $820, spent $712, probably cut about even. Now's also a good time to remind you, I think, that what I'm claiming as pay isn't actually what's in my bank account right now. It's just it's tracking what I literally made this week. And there's a reason I changed to tracking it like that. But that, again, is something I think we'll discuss more in other videos because I'll be doing this every week. So we can really get into it more. Moving into income. Income for week 2, the 8th through the 14th. I have some ideas of how we're going to update the videos moving forward. We will still kind of show and talk about some of this pen to paper, but I want to start showing you guys some more behind the scenes with work and some more of my expenses like as they're happening. So I wouldn't exactly say vlog style, but moving forward, we should have some more clips so you guys can really see more of what I'm doing instead of me just telling you and showing you the numbers. So look forward to that for next week and moving forward. I am hoping that as we do these videos every week, not only will my numbers improve, but this video style will improve. And if we all enjoy it after a year, maybe it will continue on for eternity. I think it'll be really fun, a little bit different, and something I like to share with you guys because I like to share the real numbers. I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little rough. I'm still sick. If you did not see last week's video, basically I have some different categories up here. I'm basically categorizing into 3 different ways right now. Down here is the month 1 through 30. So we are on this like middle column right here. So light purple means that I did not hit the goal that I set myself income wise. Dark purple means that I did. Just like week 1, I had 1 day in one category that I met my goal. So this is definitely like a stretch goal. I would love to get there, but we're not there. I will say on Friday, we had $30 worth of printables and memberships, and my goal is 50. So that was a pretty good day. That was our closest to getting to our goal. On, let's see, Saturday, I did meet our physical goal. My goal is to make $150 every single day from physical item sales, and I made $199 on Saturday. So thank you to everybody shopping with me on jordanbudgets.com or on Etsy. And then let's see, my best YouTube day was on, what is this, Tuesday? Yes, my best YouTube day was on, no, it was on Monday, which I made $32 from YouTube and Amazon affiliates, which was one of my worst sales days overall. So my total numbers per day range from $232 down to $48 on, what was that? On Tuesday. So just like I said in week 1, I was like, look, if we can keep those numbers, then I'm happy with that. Well, you can see we did not keep those numbers. My low day for the week was a total of $48, and then my high day was $232, like I said. So my weekly goal is to make $2,100. Nowhere near that. I made $820 this week. My average last week, this is not something I shared last week, so I want to backtrack a little bit, but my average dollar amount I made per day, and I count all 7 days, so my average was $152 per day, which I think is pretty good. That's kind of my standard where I want to at least stay. That's like where I feel comfortable, because that's at least covering the basics, right? My average for this week, all 7 days, was $117 per day. So again, not terrible, but hoping to grow. I had a goal for myself to work on I wanted to get at least up 2 printables. Do y'all remember that? Well, that did not happen. I didn't get up any printables, and I think moving forward, I don't think I'm going to give myself a goal of exactly what I need to improve. I just need to focus in on a category, right? Because while physical items, my goal is 150, I'm not even consistently meeting that goal, right? So as long as I focus in on a category and make an improvement, and I can report that back to you on a weekly basis, then I'm happy. So I do want to kind of report back how things are going in each category. I think we will end each video like this. Let me know if you find it interesting or boring, or if it feels like pitchy. I don't know. I'm just trying to be completely transparent, but I don't know if you guys are super interested in this part. But I focused in this week on memberships specifically. So like I still improved something. So for my members, I did improve. Members are no longer just getting emails from me with goodies. There's a whole back end on the website. So jordanbudgets.com, for the $5 members, they now have a login. We have videos that are going up. We have a little mini chat for now. I'm hoping to turn it into full forums. We have the same goodies like free downloads and physical giveaways, but basically we have a whole platform now, and I have ideas to expand the membership. So I did improve that this week, and we did get a couple of new members. So thank you to the 2 members that joined us during week 2. We got a couple of new members. Oh, also, so this is actually week 3, but I'll go ahead and say it. I did, there's been a request several times for me to do a yearly membership fee so that people don't have to pay every single month. I made that happen this week. So now people can either get a $5 membership and they're charged every single month, or they can sign up for a yearly membership. They are charged once per year and you get a month off. So it's $55 instead of $5 per month. So they get a month free. So I made that happen. So that felt like a huge win and huge improvement in what I'm trying to do there. And because of that, during week 3, we have a new member who utilized the yearly membership. So one of these days we might be close to hitting our $100 goal for the printables and members section, right? Because I put that on the website. I spent the time doing that during week 2. So week 3, somebody was able to utilize it. So major improvements, I will say, out of the whole week, members were most improved. The eventual goal for the other categories, you can know what to expect and hopefully see from me soon, is printables. I do want to have my full shop listed as printables and physical purchases if people just want to buy some printables. Right now I have maybe 20 listings there, so I would like to majorly improve that. Physical listings, I want to open everything up for international shoppers. Right now I'm only a USA based shop, and I do think opening up international will help us hit that $150 daily goal for our physical sales, right? YouTube and affiliates, I'm working on 2 to 3 videos per week. I will say during week 2 we only did 1 video, so our numbers reflect that, and week 3 we should have at least 2 videos, but we will see. And then maybe eventually working into some more affiliates, but that's kind of not even really on my radar at this point. But I do better when I have a bit more flexibility, because sometimes inspiration just hits me to work on certain things, and I don't want to feel locked into like, oh, well, I said in the video I was going to work on this, like I did last week, because the inspiration hit me to work on the memberships. That felt like a bigger priority, and I did that, and I'm happy I used the energy doing that. Next week I hope to report to you that international shipping is open, or that I have majorly improved the membership in some way or increased my printables. We shall see what actually ends up happening. It might be more videos on YouTube, so we'll see. But the general idea is that I need to improve on all of these categories. Once we are all dark purple, as in once we're hitting the goals on everything pretty consistently, then I am allowed to introduce a new idea, introduce a new major product like a budget planner. I'm allowed to pursue some of those other things, but right now I think I just get so scattered. I feel like I'm kind of doing the minimum on what's already started. What I need to do is make this all go as perfectly as possible, hire a little bit of help, because I know that will be rather expensive, but hire the 2 places that I've said I would like to hire to keep this going smoothly, open up a little bit of time for myself, and then we'll add in like a 4th category, for example. That was a lot of chatting, but I think I really wanted to share all of that with you. So I said 2+ members, we got 2 new members. I did 1 video. Oh, I'm researching international. I did spend a lot of time during week 2 researching international, and I don't think it's going to be as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think I'm just going to have everybody covering their own custom fees. If you're an international member, let me know how you feel about that. I keep saying member. If you're an international viewer, let me know how you feel about paying and covering your own customs, as long as you know up front that that's something you're going to have to do. I've been thinking this whole time that I'm going to have to figure out customs, but I've been researching similar shops in this little niche of cash budgeting, and a lot of them just have a general disclaimer that you have to cover, as the buyer, the customs and fees and taxes, whatever. Let me know how you guys feel about that if you are international and considering purchasing from my shop. So I did learn a lot about that in week 2. I felt like that was productive. And then I put up member here. Oh, I put up I was like, what does up member mean? I put up the membership platform on my website, which was a very big deal. That happened during week 2. Another important thing to note for week 2, as far as like, I do feel like my income was lower than ideal, right? But I spent all of week 2 sick and running around with the kids doing different hospital and school things and stuff. So my income wasn't exactly like the forefront of my brain. It was survival week. Anyways, that is it for today. As always, love you guys, appreciate you, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.